Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please subscribe, leave a like, and share with anybody that you can. Now let's get right into it. The Celtics lose game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Miami to the Miami Heat. The game wasn't really out of reach, but the Heat had a 20-point lead in the third quarter. The Celtics were down 9, with like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Heat had like a 8-point stretch where I think Strus hit a 3, then PJ Tucker hit a 3, then Jimmy had a bucket, something like that. Jimmy had a lot of buckets in this game. We'll talk about it, but first half was, I guess, too good to be true. Celtics came out blazing. Peyton Pritchard hitting shots. Tatum playing a really good, controlled, smooth half of basketball. Pretty sure he had 21 on like 9 for 14, had 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and even though that Brown didn't really come to play yet, you could tell that Tatum had a sense of urgency here to come out hard that first half. My key to the game, the key was Robert Williams was dominant this first half. He kind of fizzled out the second half a little bit. He didn't get as many touches as he did in the first half. Gabe Vincent kind of stripped him a couple times down low when he got those low passes. I would like to see the Celtics try to minimize the bounce passes in traffic. Rob has very long arms. He's not 7 foot, but he has long arms, and him reaching all the way down to come back up. He's a quick jumper, but guys like Gabe with those quick hands and Jimmy, even Bam has very quick hands. So guys like that, I would just like to see the Celtics either get those lobs up or just throw it high. He can impact any series, just given his elite athleticism. He's the most athletic guy on the court 99% of the nights. It's kind of hard to pick out a guy that's more athletic than Rob, especially at that size. His passing, his rebounding, which we really needed in Bucks series. But I feel like, particularly in this series, with the Heat not having as much size as the Bucks or as much size as us, Bam and Rob are basically the same height. They don't have a Brook Lopez and a Giannis and a Bobby Portis. This is a team that's very gritty, a team that's going to scrap all night, and they're not going to beat themselves often. And they're definitely not going to do it for a whole game. And if you want to win, you're going to have to take it from them. And Rob and Tatum were taking it from the Heat the first half. Rob was doing a great job handling it at the top of the key, passing off, dribble handoffs, and the Celtics actually made a conservative effort in the first half to find him on those rolls and all those slip-offs. And he had 12, 14 points in the first half, had a block on Gabe Vincent, like a floater, changed a lot of shots. His impact was just felt as soon as the game started. I need to see more from him in the second half, because he does tend to have these first halves. I know scoring wise he's not gonna really keep it up to have 20 points or 30 points, but the overall impact should still be the same, whether or not they're passing him the ball the same. Pritchard was good. I think he was good. It's just that his size, it just gave me PTSD of the bubble series, bro, where they were just picking on Kemba, the pick and rolls between Dragic and Butler and Kendrick Nunn and Butler, just getting Kemba. And then it's not that he always scored on Kemba or Peyton. It was just that it discombobulated the whole defense, because either they switched it or they were trying not to switch it, which means now they're a step behind Jimmy or whoever has the ball. Now he's kicking it out, or he's going to the rim, or he's getting fouled. It just is what it is. And with Smart, of course, the defensive player of the year, you're not scheming to go at Smart. It's never happened. So even though Peyton gave us a great contribution on the offensive end, I think guys like Pritchard can't play significantly in this series, just because of the simple fact that the Heat are going to absolutely milk that mismatch right there. Jimmy got going in the third quarter and the fourth quarter by doing that and getting to the line. The pump fakes, so just kept jumping. He's a very good mid-range in-between scorer with his size, his strength, and his touch. But you just gotta contest, bro. You gotta be smart. You have to take the chances of him making that shot over him getting 2 free throws every time. He shot 18 free throws. He made 17 of them. He shot 81%, I think, this playoffs. Jimmy's not going to miss a lot of free throws. So, back to the Celtics. Nesmith. Nesmith was a bolt of energy. It still boggles me that he's a better athlete than a shooter when he was literally drafted to shoot the ball. We needed shooting. We got him at 14, the 2020 draft, and he's more of an energy guy and a defense guy than, well, not defense, but he's a great, like, he's just athletic as hell. If he was just able to hit, because the threes he took, oh my, they sounded like bombs coming off his hands, bro. It's just, I mean, it's a great thing that he is athletic. I just think I would take him hitting threes over getting blocks. It just depends on the team. The Celtics need shooting. They're not a great shooting team. Aaron Nesmith was hitting him at the rate Strus does. I would take that over him blocking shots. Now his energy, you can't really fault that at all, because in the first half it was great energy, and in the second half, even though he picked up 2 shooter fouls, I'm pretty sure both were on Jimmy's pump fakes, you couldn't fault the kid because nobody else was giving that energy. So Aaron Nesmith had a good solid game. We needed that energy, and I think he might get some looks again. Maybe in game 2, maybe in Boston. I just wish he could hit some shots, because that's what he was drafted to do. And that's what the Celtics need. Guys that when Tatum and Brown pass out to, they're going to make the most of that opportunity. You consistently make those plays so that Tatum and Brown can trust you enough to keep swinging it to you. So, but I will take this game from Aaron Nesmith again. Jaylen Brown. Not a JB game, but JB does have these games, especially in the playoffs, where he'll have a bad game, but like he'll kind of rack up some points in a stretch, so it doesn't look that bad. But he was non-existent for the first half. Even though the Celtics played such a great first half, they were only up, I think, 8. That was a loss. The way we played, we should have been up 20 points. And that came back to hurt us when he went on that huge run in the third quarter. I don't know what the hell happened. But so yeah, great first half. Wasn't up what we should have been up by. Tyler Hero kept him in that game along with Jimmy. Getting to the line, Tyler Hero with that pick and roll in between game, that really kept them afloat in a half where they had no business being anywhere close to us. With Tatum scoring, Pritchard scoring, Rob having his impact, Tice playing okay, but Brown was invisible, and he was until the fourth quarter when it looked like it was garbage time. But that happens. That happens with Brown, and not that it's a good thing that he has bad games. But historically, especially in the playoffs, when he does have bad games, the very next game, he comes out like he's Jordan. So hopefully we can get that game 2, get a win there, split the home court, see what's up with Marcus and Al, who we'll talk about in about 2 minutes. But second half, we're going to wrap this up quickly. I don't want to relive that. Jimmy's whistle he shot 18 free throws. The way he plays the refs and the way he plays the game and the contact, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He's not KD or Giannis. KD nor Giannis. Well, Giannis had the game, but KD had one game like this. Giannis had 3. And the way that Jimmy's playing looks sustainable. Now, the only part of it that's not is the point pick and rolls where Gabe Vincent comes over and sets a screen so Pritchard can switch, or the defense gets discombobulated and all that shit. When Smart comes back, that's not happening. So that's the only thing that's not sustainable. And then when Al comes back, yeah, it's just the way he was playing, he was unstoppable. I guess I'll go into this. Tatum in the second half, as soon as they scored like 10 points in a row, he stopped playing the game. Ime took him out, but it was just that whole second half. He just not reading the game like he was in the first half or this whole playoffs. I just don't get it sometimes with Tatum. How can you go from the game 6 you just had and the game 7? Because before he left with all that foul trouble, he was 5 for 5 from 3, dishing the rock well, playing within himself. So I just don't understand how you go from a 46-point game 6, a good game 7, an astronomical first half, to go play like that. Yes, PJ Tucker energized the Heat, but that doesn't mean you have to start playing soft and very unsmooth and indecisive. Like you throwing soft entry passes twice. You letting people rip you on ball. That should never happen to somebody of your caliber, ever. Nobody should be ripping you off ball unless they foul you and the ref don't call it. Nobody should be ripping you. Not Oladipo, not Jimmy, not Gabe Vincent. Nobody in the league should be ripping Jason Tatum straight up. And then the spitting in the traffic. He got so much better at recognizing when to do that little put your arms under the defense arm so they can slap you, grab a foul, spin move, do that. He got so much better at recognizing in which type of crowds to do that in. You can't do that if there's no space, because then you're gonna turn the ball over, which he did 3 times. Trying to go in between double teams and stuff like that with that trying to draw a foul move is not gonna work. Where we do have success at, and what I think Brown has to be elite at, is taking advantage of the smaller guys that he have. The Gabe Vincent. Tyler Hero's not small in height, but he's frail. Tatum and Brown can just go straight through him. Strus, not frail, but he's not a good defender either. If the Heat can run the same pick and roll 20 straight plays and go at Pritchard and score 80% of the time, the Celtics can do the same thing. They can do the exact same thing with Gabe Vincent and Tyler Hero and Strus, which they were doing Tatum was in the first half. In the fourth quarter, when it really didn't matter that much, Brown started shooting over Gabe Vincent for threes, pulling up. I don't get why JB couldn't do that from the first half. Lastly, we're going to talk about Smart and Al, and we can talk about the Heat a little bit and some adjustments I want to see for Game 2 still in Miami. I didn't think Smart was going to play this game. I know Smart is one of the toughest guys. He left Game 7 in a walking boot. I didn't think that was going to change in a day. So, yeah, I mean, he's out of it, but I didn't think he was going to be good enough to play. They said the swelling was still kind of there, so we set him out. Cool. Al was the one I did not expect. I don't know what the hell was going on with this COVID protocols thing. I really don't understand. This is his 3rd time in this season, and from what I was hearing, if I'm not mistaken, people were saying that I was in shoot around. Like, he was there shooting around, practicing before the game, but somehow he was a scratch for health and safety protocols, which is a health hazard in itself if he was already out there. So I'm not saying what's the point of putting him in the protocols, but if he's already out in front of the fans, if he's already in the arena, I'm like, ooh, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing? But impact of Smart was really felt this game. Of course, on the defensive side of the ball, you know, they're not scheming to go at Smart like they did Pritchard, of course. But offensively, Tatum didn't need it in the first half. But when the game starts to slow down, possessions start with Smart. So Tatum isn't walking the ball up the court for 8 seconds with pressure in his face. That exhausts a lot of energy. Smart's in there. Smart gets them in a position where they don't have to take as many dribbles, and they're not handling pressure all the way up the court. This goes for Tatum and Brown. Smart and Al are really steady hands. When other teams go on runs and shit, Smart has a very underrated ability to recognize when somebody needs to attack and make something happen so they can stop the bleeding. You've seen Smart against the Bucks with Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, who's taller than him, just bully them into the paint. I think it was in Game 6 where he got, 2 clutch shots in the paint, just backing him down, those little turnarounds. He could do that to Gabe Vincent all game. Gabe Vincent's barely 6'1", 6'2". Smart can just back him down into the paint whenever he wants to. And I felt like we needed that when in that third quarter when the Heat was just going off. Gabe played better than I expected. Strus and Hero started hitting some shots in the second half, which I said in my last video, go check that out if you haven't, that the Heat have more reliable shooters than the Bucks had. Strus, Hero, if Robinson ever plays, Vincent, those guys can hit shots. I'm expecting, hoping that Smart and Al progress. Hoping that Al isn't out for too long. It's probably gonna be like 2 games. Hopefully, we're just gonna have to keep an eye out for that foot and keep monitoring his status and just hope for the best, because Smart can play through some pain, but if it's enough for him to not be able to play in the game, just no. So we need Smart back, we need Al back, just 2 steady guys that when stuff hits the fan, guys that make the necessary plays, whether it's offensive or defensive. I just think they have to keep it up for 4 quarters, or at least 4.5. Because when the Celtics play their A game, they're probably the best team in the league. You've seen it in the last series. When they play their A game, the Bucks, they blew out the Bucks. When they don't, the Bucks win close. Even if they just get a quarter in for great play, they're in every game. Outplayed the Heat in the first half. Got a lead. Got dismantled in the third quarter. Somehow only lost by 11 points after that run. A couple threes here, a couple threes there, a stop or 2. You right back in that game. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Go Celtics. Game 2, I fully expect us to split in Miami with the adjustments from Ime and the players. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, share to anybody. Let's get out there a little bit more. This is Nick. I'll see you guys next game. Peace.